Live, up and down the coast, from the beaches to the valleys, your news channel starts right now.
And good Saturday evening to you. I'm Dave Alley, filling in for Tracy Lair tonight. Over 100 Boy Scouts from throughout the Central Coast, they are camping at Rancho Alegre this weekend. News Channel reporter Evan Vega visited the camp today and has more on the district-wide scouting event.
Do you need me to hold it steady?
The annual Scout BSA Camporee is back.
Now put your legs up. All right, let's go.
Go, go, go.
Scout troops from all over the county have gathered for a weekend-long campsite competition.
It's just a really fun way where all scouts can just come and meet each other.
This is the first Camporee being held here at Rancho Alegre since 2019.
About half of them have never had a camporee, and this is something we normally do every year, so it's fantastic to see them all out here again.
This campsite has been rebuilt since it was burned down by the Whittier fire in 2017. Over 27 teams of Boy and Girl Scouts are competing this year.
I think any boy or girl should join because you meet so many new people and you learn a lot of skills that'll help you throughout your life.
And it's actually a lot of fun. It's learning, but it's learning with a purpose.
Scout activities include first aid, balance beams, flag etiquette, and river rescue.
Oh, this is wonderful. We've been waiting for this. We've had so much activity that we've been doing by Zoom, which is nice, but it's not real scouting. This is real scouting.
The next district-wide Scout Camporee will be held in the fall. In Santa Barbara County, I'm News Channel reporter Evan Vega.
Yeah, it looked like a great day out there, and now it's time to take a look at our weather. Shawn Quien is in our first alert weather center. Shawn, it's been hot. We've been powering through that heat wave the last few days, but a little bit of a cool down, though, thankfully.
That's right. You know, it's all because of the direction of the wind, and you can see we're going under the wind knife again for their little weather surgery here. And some of these wind speeds are a little on the strong side, so I'll go ahead and we'll hit our buttons right here. And as we look around the region, you can see 25 miles an hour just to the north of Point Conception. A little bit less as you head farther south, but still the overall effect, though, the northwesterly wind, it's that westerly component which has helped to cool us down. So as I click on our little button right here and bring down the list, look at the temperature change right there from this time yesterday. We're looking at dramatic temperature changes. In fact, that's really our big story, aside from the fact that we are dealing with some more wind advisories, which of course is typical for this time of year. So the good news is, Dave, if you did not like that heat the last couple of days, it has definitely dramatically changed. In fact, we'll go ahead and even look at the currents right now. Let's see if I can bring that back up. I have a little bit of time, so I'll go ahead and look at our currents. And wow, look at this. We're talking 50s in some areas, still some 70s out there, close to 80, but no 80s on the map as we speak right now. And I know the records yesterday were shattered in some areas, and that was an understatement. We saw records going up 15 degrees above where the previous record had been, and I know in Oxnard and other places. So really a nice cool down, welcome cool down. And when I come back, we'll talk about a nice forecast, Dave, throughout the week, and maybe even a couple of small rain chances. Dave?
And we need to warn you now, some of the images and subject matter in the next story on the war in Ukraine are extremely graphic and maybe hard to hear or see. Today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling for even more pressure on Russia with assistance to Ukrainians in defense as well as sanctions. This after Zelensky met with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson just one day after a deadly railway station strike. Cole Higgins now has the latest.
A stunning show of solidarity. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson traveling to Kyiv for a surprise meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The press service of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine quoting Zelensky in a tweet Saturday as saying Johnson is one of the most principled opponents of the Russian invasion, a leader on sanctions pressure on Russia and defense support for Ukraine. Welcome to Kyiv, my friend. Johnson says the UK is, quote, setting out a new package of financial and military aid to Ukraine. This as fears mount that Russia may be getting desperate to seek victory by any means necessary.
Civilians were crushed by tanks while sitting in their cars in the middle of the road, just for their pleasure. They cut off limbs, slashed their throats. Women were raped and killed in front of their children. Their tongues were pulled out only because the aggressor did not hear what they wanted to hear from them.
Horrific images from the aftermath of a Russian strike on a train station in Kramatorsk Friday. The attack killing at least 52 people, including 5 children. Almost 100 others wounded in the blast.
We expect a firm, global response to this war crime.
They raise everything to new levels. And I think what we're going to see is a maximum imposition of these sanctions. But unfortunately, it takes time to stop this invasion because sanctions take time to work.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
And now I'll follow up on a fundraiser for Ukraine that involves locally made soup. It's another example of what's right here in our community. The traditional hearty borscht soup is made in Carpinteria here locally at the Food Liaison. The recipe comes from a local ranch owner of Ukrainian descent. Now, last week it sold by the quart, as we showed you right here on our news channel coverage just after the fundraiser launched. By the end of the week, nearly $5,000 has been raised. That's money that's going right back to Razom. That's a relief agency helping out refugees in Ukraine during the ongoing war. Well, it's officially spring, as we know, and the weather warms up as it does. The latest COVID-19 surge is also continuing to slow down. Many people are looking forward to meeting up with family and friends. At the start of the new season, the American Red Cross encouraging right now the community to play an important role in helping to save lives by making blood donation part of their spring plans. The Red Cross is testing blood, platelet, and plasma donations for COVID-19 antibodies. The test may indicate if the donor's immune system has produced antibodies to the coronavirus after vaccination or past exposure, regardless of whether or not folks developed symptoms.
One donation of whole blood can help up to 3 people. It could be one person, it could be 3 people. We can separate the blood into the different components to give to whoever needs it. If you donate your red cells, that you'll be helping 6 people.
And to donate blood, individuals need to bring a blood donor card or a driver's license or 2 other forms of identification that are required at the check-in. And Old Spanish Days announced their winners for this year's 2022 Spirit and Junior Spirit Fiesta. The auditions were held this afternoon at the Lobero Theater. Tara Mata, a 19-year-old student at Santa Barbara City College, was selected as the 22 Spirit of Fiesta, and 9-year-old Michaela Garcia, a 3rd grader at Crane Country Day School, she was chosen as the 22 Junior Spirit. Organizers said that more than 500 folks were in attendance as each of the candidates, 8 in the Spirit category, 11 more in the Junior Spirit category, danced in front of family and friends, as well as the anonymous judges.
The 2022 Spirit of Fiesta is Tara Mata.
All attendees had to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test result within 72 hours prior to the event. Organizers added that masks were no longer required indoors, but they were recommended. And still ahead, sports coming at you. It's moving day at the Masters. Find out which golfers play themselves into contention at Augusta, and if Tiger Woods could position himself perhaps to make a Sunday run at a record-tying 6th green jacket. Sports is coming up next. We'll be right back. The 3rd round of the Masters was played today, known as Moving Day. It's a round where players begin to position themselves for a Sunday run at the green jacket. Tiger Woods, he began the day a little bit off the pace, 9 shots in back of the lead. The 5-time champion was hoping to make a run up the leaderboard, but instead, Tiger went the other way. A tough day for Woods, 5 bogeys plus a couple of double bogeys on the scorecard. Finished up with a round of 6 over 78. He is way back now, 7 over par. Now at the top of the leaderboard, 2nd round leader Scotty Scheffler. He's the world's #1 ranked player. Certainly played that way for the first several holes, but then got a little shaky on the back 9. 4 bogeys, in fact, over the last 7 holes. And that opened up the tournament a little bit as Scheffler finished up at 9 under par. Cameron Smith, 6 under par. He's just 3 shots off the lead. Sungjae Im is just a couple shots back at 4 under. Only 4 other golfers are under par. Again, Scheffler with a 3-shot lead entering the final round tomorrow. Some sad news to report now from the NFL. Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins was killed today in Florida. The former first-round draft pick seen here in file video. He was struck by a dump truck while walking on a highway near Fort Lauderdale. Now, according to the Florida Highway Patrol, the 24-year-old Haskins was attempting to cross the westbound lanes of the interstate there. It's unknown why Haskins was on the highway at that time. The former Ohio State star quarterback was in Florida training with other Steelers offensive players. He was a first-round draft pick of Washington in 2018. After 2 disappointing seasons there, Haskins spent last season with the Steelers, serving as a backup quarterback to Ben Roethlisberger. Moving on to baseball, Giants and Marlins playing the second game of their season-opening 3-game series. Brandon Crawford getting his Gold Glove that he won last year before the game. It was 1-0 Miami here in the 5th when the Giants tie up the game. Steven Duggar with a base hit that would score a run. Only run of the ball game though for the Giants, as the Marlins would tack on one in the 7th. It would be Jesus Sanchez going the other way himself right off of Jake McGee, and the Marlins double up the Giants 2-1. Giants fall to 1-1 on the young season. A's, by the way, lose to Philly 4-2. Dodgers, Angels, and the Padres, they are all playing tonight. Still ahead, Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember him? Or it? Or Sonic. There it is right there. It's back in theaters this weekend. It's expected to be #1 at the box office for this week's release. We'll tell you about it.
And some interesting weather has returned to our region. We're losing the heat. See some fog mixed in and a lot of wind issues. We'll talk about some rain chances jumping in there as well. So a busy forecast is minutes away. Stay tuned.
Now, this weekend's Kite Festival is returning back to Santa Barbara. The summer heat has made it a perfect week to go out to the beach and enjoy the bright sunshine. Now, this is going to take place tomorrow from 11 to 4 on the Great Meadow Lawn on the west campus of Santa Barbara City College. Admission, hey, this is a great deal. It's absolutely free. Parking is available on both the west campus and the main campus. Kites, food, and beverages can be purchased at the festival. Time now for Shawn Quien to take a look at our first alert weather forecast and great day to fly a kite tomorrow.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that it will be fine for flying kites. We've already got the wind out there. We've also got some fog kind of lurking about, so the weather has definitely changed. You can see as we look at, what is that, out toward Ledbetter Beach, the harbor, and you can see right there, West Beach, I guess? Yeah, that's got to be West Beach if I get my geography right. Yeah, there's the harbor and all that. So really nice out there, and the computer is detecting a little bit of fog, and that's because there is some haze out there that's digging in across the region. We're seeing a wind advisory again across the entire area, especially for the San Ynez Range along the south coast, and then back through the mountains of Santa Barbara and Ventura County. And again, this map, boy, blue and howl, and that is just how much the temperatures have dropped. In fact, this is moderated a bit toward the afternoon a few hours ago, where I was seeing numbers closer to 20-25 degrees. So a big drop. We expected it. It came. So look at those nice, lovely highs today. Only a few places got into the 80s, Ojai, Paso Robles, and even that wasn't that bad. It was only into the 80s, whereas I know yesterday on our Friday, we shattered records in many, many areas of southern and central California. Not beat the records, but actually blew them out by like 10 to 15 degrees in some areas. Really remarkable. Offshore driven heat waves can really do that. So look at temperatures right now, 50s and 60s, a really nice day. Still 77 in Ojai and 79 in Paso Robles, 78 in Shandon. And the wind, that will be our focus right now as we go through the next several hours. And this may come back, this weather map, as far as our weather concern, I should say, might come back again as we head toward Monday and even into early Tuesday. The good news is, though, because if there's that little bit of a westerly component, it just changes everything. Look at the humidity values starting to really come up now. I know the inland areas, it's going to take a while to recover because it's been so dry with the offshore winds, but at least it's showing some hope. Now across the west coast, the ridge that was giving us the heat wave has finally flattened out, and it's actually moving a little bit more toward the east. So that's the good news. As it shifts over in this direction, that allows the open door to the Pacific Ocean. Even though we see some more wind coming, at least it gives us some hope that we'll cool off. And we did today, and we'll cool off more tomorrow. And also a little hope for some rain, especially the farther north you go. Now watch as we head through Sunday into Monday. There are some showers showing up on our weather computer. They really don't want to go south of Point Conception for the most part, maybe in the mountains, and then it kind of runs right past us, but at least something does show up. And then, believe it or not, maybe we'll get lucky again by late in the work week. There could be a second shot of a slight chance of rain, especially again the farther north you go. So watching our future rainfall This is hopeful. This kind of year, you have to take what you can get, and at least something does show up. These numbers have been bouncing around, and more than likely they'll continue to bounce around. Fog also could be playing cat and mouse with us as the winds roll around. That tends to gouge out the marine layer, but wherever the winds kind of drop, you could see some fog flirting down to our south and as well across to the north, and also some high clouds, again, streaming over as that storm system knocks on the door for Monday and possibly into late or early Tuesday. And of course, wind, we're going to have to watch this now. Tomorrow morning it gets quiet, but then watch by the afternoon. Starts to ratchet up again, especially out toward Point Conception, the Channel Islands, and some of our high mountain tops. That's that north detection of northerly winds. You can see that when it lines up in this direction all the way across the Tehachapi's and southern Sierras. That means we're definitely getting that north flow. So as far as temperatures, tomorrow looks absolutely lovely, and you can see right here a lot of 60s, a few 70s, cooling off for sure. But then look what happens as we head to Monday. The heat wave is going to be really in our rearview mirror. The computer is hinting at high 50s to lower 60s. I've seen this computer get a little bit zealous in both directions, so we'll have to wait and see if we do indeed only have highs in the high 50s. So cooler, more northerly winds. Again, that wind issues are going to be on the map at least the next couple of days, despite the fact that maybe some hopeful rain will show up. And look at those 70s and 60s on the high end, some 40s and 50s on the low end, and that will be the story up and down the entire region. As you can see, 52 in Oxnard, 70 by the afternoon, 53 and 65 for Hueneme. And the water has come up a little bit. We have a lot of surf out there with the wind and some ground swell, so high surf advisories are up and down the entire coastal regions. And there's your 7-day forecast. Passover showing up on about Friday. I apologize, it popped on my Monday. It's supposed to be sliding over to Friday, so it looks like I just blew that. I'm gonna have to fix that map for sure, and I do apologize for that one. That was called a rush job. Oops, and I really do apologize for that. But then you can see the chances for rain do show up on about Monday, and again possibly late in the work week. So we'll just go right through here through our maps, and one more time, Santa Maria, and there it is right there. A slight chance the farther north you go, the better chance. And again, once we get to Thursday and Friday. So we'll throw a break. We'll be right back.
Now, only in theaters this weekend, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 reteams James Barden with villain Jim Carrey and Ben Schwartz, the voice of the powerful blue speed demon Sonic. It is expected to win this weekend at the box office. Looks like a pretty good movie there. All right, we are back later on this evening at 11 o'clock, but always remember breaking news anytime on our mobile app. Have a good evening.